There are a ton of Adobe Audition tutorials on YouTube, but the problem is nobody teaches you everything about certain things. So what I decided is I'm going to take every single panel in Adobe Audition and teach you everything that you can do inside that panel. So after watching this video, you will get complete understanding about that feature. So in today's session, we are going to take the files panel and I'm going to explain everything that you can do inside the files panel, including all the commands, all the right clicks menus, all the buttons, etc. So let's get started. So first of all, this is the file menu in Audition. This is the place where we import audio files for editing. If you cannot see this menu, you can go to Window and turn on this files panel. You can use the Alt+9 shortcut to make this visible. Once you do that, you can see this is the file menu. This is the border of the file menu. So let's get started. First, here you can see open file, right? So by click on this, you can open this file explorer and you can locate the files and you can import files into Adobe Audition. You can go to the music section and you can select the file and you can import audio files like this. But in practical way, we rarely use that method. We go to the media browser and we browse the files using the media browser, and we can just simply drag and drop audio files to this place like this, right? So that is how we use the open button. The next one is import file, right? So when you click on this, you get the same dialog box. You can use this import button to also use to import audio files like this, but specifically this is designed to import other multi-track sessions. If you already don't know about what is multi-track session, multi-track session is a audio mixing session with multiple audio tracks. Let's say you are mixing a song, so that song contains guitars, drums, vocal, likewise. So the session that contain multiple tracks, you will get a clear idea about this when I explain the multi-track session. We can also use this one to open media files like MP3 audio, wave audio, or you can use this to import Audition multi-track session files. If you browse some kind of multi-track session file, let's say this is a session file that I want to mention. You can see this session file .scx file. These are the session file. You can open that session like this. Now we have imported that session. These two buttons do the same thing. You can use either one. I don't know why Adobe has provided two buttons. You can use these two to do the same thing. So I undo that. So I cannot undo file opening. If you take a look at, you cannot do that. So you can select this and you can delete like this. So the next one is new file. You can here you can see this arrow. That means it contains some other commands inside that arrow. So when you click on this, you'll get three options: new multi-track session, audio file, and new CD layout. First, let's click on the new audio file. Now when you click on this new audio file, you will get the new audio file dialog box. So we create a new audio file to record audio inside Adobe Audition. So this is the process of recording audio inside Adobe Audition. You can give the file name of the audio, right? Say voiceover 1, and you can select the sample rate and the channel. Do you want it to be stereo, or do you want it to be mono or 5.1? And you can also select the bit depth. If you don't know about these terms, I'll do a separate video about explaining these things. This is not the time. These are key concepts that you need to understand if you are doing audio works. For now, just select the default and click OK. When you do that, you can see it created a file and you can expand this. You can see the left channel and you can see the right channel. But we have opened that in the waveform editor, but for now we cannot see anything in this file because we haven't recorded anything here. So in order to record audio, just click on this record button and now it will start recording audio inside Adobe Audition. You can click on this pause button to pause the recording, and you can click it again to continue the recording again. And once you finish the recording, you can click on stop. Now we have completed the audio recording, and you can see we have created the audio file. Now you can see here the asterisk mark. So what is the meaning of this asterisk mark? That means we haven't saved this file, right? So you can go to file and save, and now it will give this save as dialog box. Now you can select the location that you want to save this audio file. The file organization is a pretty important thing. So if you take a look at my project template folder, this is a template folder that I use for my audition projects. If you take a look at this, you can see the folder structure that I am using. You can see first the session file. You can see voiceover recordings, music files that I use to mix and also you can see the sound effects. Then you can mix for review. That means let's say you are working with a client and you need to send some kind of multiple mixes to the client so he can understand what is the final work. And once we completed all the feedback, then we can do the final mix. And I like to save this my final mix inside the final mix folder, because let's say 5 years later client asks that same final mix file. So I have completely organized structure. By that way I can easily find files when I need it, right? So now I select this folder. You can browse and you can go for you can locate the voiceover recording, and you can keep the file name like this, and you can click on save. And you can see that we can select the format. What is the format that we want to save this? The default one is wave format, because that is an uncompressed format. Because if you want to use these things to later editing, we can use this one. And also you can see it use the default sample rate. If you want to change that, you can change it when you save it, and you can, if you need, you can change it later. Now here you can see the estimate file size, and also you can check this on, because let's say you have had some metadata markers in this audio file. You can keep them and you can click OK. Now you can see that the asterisk mark disappeared. That means we have saved this file successfully. So the next one is you can click on this new CD layout. If you click on this, you will get this kind of layout. And on the right hand side, you will see this message, drag and drop files or CD track markers here. That means let's say you want to burn a CD using Adobe Audition. Let's say you created 8 songs album and you need to burn these things to Adobe Audition. Now this is the CD layout that we created, and now you can drag and drop your files to this place like this. Now let's imagine this is a audio CD that contains 8 songs. You can put the songs and you can change the order of the songs like this. You can drag and drop like this. By that way you can change the order of the album. And once you completed that, then you can click on burn audio to CD. When you click on this, it will give this burn audio dialog box. And here you need to have a standard CD writer in your computer. And you can burn CDs using Adobe Audition. Let's say you want to burn like 10 copies. You can type the 10 copies here. And you need to verify CD after burning. Turn on this checkbox. And also you can click on the eject CD when complete. You cannot see this OK button activated because I don't have a CD writer in my computer. But if you have a CD writer, you can see this is activated, and you can click OK and you can start the burning process. So that is the new CD layout option. The next one is if you click here, the new one is new multi-track session. So what is new multi-track session? When you click on this, it will give this new multi-track session dialog box. Now we are going to create a new multi-track session in Adobe Audition. Let's say you need to give the session name. Let's say you are doing a podcast, okay? In order to record podcast, let's say you have three persons in your room. You are the podcasting host, and then you have invited two guests. So we need the three audio tracks for our podcast. Let's say we can type the session name podcast 02 or whatever name you want to give, and you can select the location where you want to save this session file. You can browse here and you need to locate the session file. Normally I like this folder structure. As I mentioned earlier, I keep all the multi-track session files inside the session files. So I select here and I select this folder. And also you can use multi-track templates. Adobe Audition comes with a lot of templates that contain various track setups. You can use the default podcast setup, or you can use the 24-track music session. Let's say if you are recording a full band song, you need a lot of tracks because you are using a lot of instruments to record and vocals. You can use the radio voiceover with music ducking. These are certain presets that you can use in certain occasions. But for me, I like this podcast preset because we are going to record a podcast. And when you select that option, it will automatically get the appropriate sample rate, bit depth, and mixing method. You can click OK. Now you can see we have created a multi-track session, and this is the session file. Adobe Audition saves multi-track session files as .scx file. You can see this one. You can see the name that we gave earlier, podcast 02. And here you can see the tracks that created using the template. You can see the host track, you can see the interview track, you can see the sound effect track, you can see the music bed track, and here you can see the final mix. Right? So this is how we create multi-track sessions in Adobe Audition. Now you can do a lot of things using these multi-track sessions. When we discuss about the multi-track session, I'm going to explain every single detail about these things. That way you will get complete idea about the multi-track session. Now we have discussed all the three items. The next one is if you select something, you will get this delete bin icon. You can close the selected file. You can click on it. It will delete the file. It doesn't mean it doesn't delete from your hard drive. It just remove from the Adobe Audition files panel, right? That is something that you need to keep in mind. The next one is if you select here, you can see you can click on new multi-track session like this, or you can switch to multi-track session. If you are doing podcast 2, you can switch to that multi-track session. Here you can see the search box. Let's say you have opened a lot of files. Let's say you have opened 100 files in the files panel, and you can type the keywords to search audio files pretty easily. It is a very useful method when we are working with complex projects. Right, now here below you can see three buttons, right? So when you select the audio file, and you can click here to play that audio file. Like this, you can play the audio file, and here you can see the loop option if you want to loop the audio file again and again. And here you can see this autoplay option. When you turn on autoplay option, and after when you select a file, it will start playing that audio automatically. By that way, you don't have to select the file, and you don't have to select the file, and then you don't need to play that button. When you just click on this audio file, it will automatically start playing that audio. Okay, now we have covered most of the things. Now let's right click here, and you will get this pop-up menu. You can create a new multi-track session, audio file, CD layout. We can do the same thing using the buttons that I described earlier. The next one is open and import command, and you can click on close all to delete all these files. So these are the main commands that we use in the files menu. Here you can see right click menu. Here you can close the files panel if you need. You can undock the panel like this to move it to another computer, another monitor like this. You can drag and drop this again like this. And here you can see close other panels in group. So this is a panel group, and if you click on close other panels in group, it will close the other panels in this group. Right, you can click on this option, match case when searching. That is self-explanatory. You can see enable loop preview, that we can do that same thing using this button. Enable autoplay, we can use that using this one. And here you can see show preview transport. Currently it is turned on. If you click on this, it will disappear these buttons. You can put it back using this show preview transport. So these are the things that you can do inside Adobe Audition file menu. I think I have covered everything that you can do inside the Adobe Audition file menu. Just open the Adobe Audition and then practice the things that I explained in this video. By that way, you will get the hands-on experience about how to do these things. Otherwise, you cannot get a complete idea about what I explained in this video. But if you get the hands-on experience about this files menu, then we can move on to the other section. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be back with the next video. Thanks.